The final qualification session is about to start, and by midnight we will know who'll be in pole position on Saturday for the 80th edition of Le Mans 24-hour car race. Tonight's edition of Le Mans 24 Minutes has an Asian edge about it as we welcome an Indian driver who's on the verge of making history. But before we meet him, let's take a look at the summary.
Well, tonight on 24 Minutes, we bring you highlights of qualifying. We have a chat with Sébastien Buemi. Alex Werks talks us through the curbs. And we take a look at the circuit from the sky.
Well, very good evening to you, and thank you for joining us here for another edition of Le Mans 24 Minutes. And now, very happy to have Justine Adelaide down in the pits, who will be joining us later on throughout the show with a few interviews with some of the drivers. Also, Sebastian Tiffer here in the studio once again. Good evening, Sebastian.
Good evening.
And we have a JRM driver and an Indian driver who's on the verge of making history. It is, of course, Karan Chandhok. Karan, thanks very much for joining us. It's great to have you here. I mean, how's it going for you? It's your first ever Le Mans.
Well, very happy to be here. It's a fantastic setting you've got. I wish, I wish more people could experience Le Mans this way, I tell you. No, very excited to be here. As you said, a little bit of history for me, to make this weekend. It's a very special event, and I think it's one of those big events you need to tick on your career. Tick the box in your career, along with Monaco and Macau and Monza, places like that. So, yeah, very excited to be here. We've had a few issues over the weekend. It's been a bit of a tough start, but onwards and upwards.
We're going to pick your brains throughout the show. You know that anyway, Karen, about what's been happening and how you expect to get on, of course. But before we do, let's have a look at what happened on Wednesday and earlier this evening in the free practice and, of course, the qualifying.
Well, on Wednesday, the green lights went on and free practice begins. And immediately running into problems was the Ferrari 458 of Giancarlo Fisichella, the ex-Formula One driver. Vehicle extremely damaged before we even got to Thursday qualifying. Qualifying one on Wednesday. We got a chance to see the Toyotas in action. Number 8 car here, stopped after 30 minutes between the two chicanes. The car being driven by Davidson, Buemi and Sarrazin. And the Pescarolo team, car number 16, was also being repaired after a big crash from Jean-Christophe Bouillon during the free practice session. The car didn't take part in qualifying. And the team have worked all night long today to be ready for the second qualifying session. The Audi number 1 team, Lotterer, already going extremely quick during the free practice. And it was the Audi Ultra 3 car that set the quickest time in qualifying 2, being driven by Duval. Provisionally pole with a time of 3 minutes 24 seconds ahead of Audi cars 1 and 2. Toyota car here you can see going wide. That was Anthony Davidson. And Nicolas Lapierre puts in the 6th fastest time just before the Audis. But it's the Audis so far dominating.
Pretty eventful first 2 qualifying sessions. Karan, you didn't run in the second qualifying session, so the one we just had. Peter Dumbrick did 1 installation lap. What happened?
We discovered a water leak, unfortunately, in the car, so it took a long time to find where it was and then to fix the problem, so we didn't really get an opportunity to run today.
But yesterday you told me you had another issue. You hit something on the track.
Yeah, it was really bizarre. I mean, to be honest, we came this weekend with the whole plan of not focusing on qualifying. All we wanted to do was get ahead of the LMP2 cars to make sure that we have a clean first lap, and then we're just focusing on the race because realistically we needed another month to prepare. We're a new team without having done any real testing. So, and yesterday in the night qualifying session, I was just driving around just to discover the circuit in the dark because it was my first time here in the dark. And I arrived at Tête Rouge, quick right-hander, and I turned in. And I think there was some debris on the circuit. I don't know what it was, but I ran over something and it launched the car in the air. It's nearly a foot off the ground, and when it landed, it damaged the gearbox. So we've had to change the gearbox overnight. So it's been a bit too much work for the boys, even before the race. But yeah, it was a very bizarre incident yesterday.
I think that you're not the only team that have encountered problems like that, in their qualifying and free practice. But we hope that everything goes well. Of course, Toyota are getting ready to challenge the Audis this weekend. Not only, of course, but Sebastian Buemi is a rookie here, former Formula One driver, just like yourself, Karen. Let's get his thoughts on Le Mans.
Toyota are back in Le Mans after a 12-year absence with 2 hybrid cars and a new driver lineup. And despite claiming some experienced names for the team, there will be 2 new rookies taking part for the 2012 races. Alexander Wurz, 2-times winner, and Nicolas Lapierre, who drove for Peugeot last year, will share the cockpit with ex-Formula One driver and newbie Kazuki Nakajima. And in the second car, it will be Sarrazin, Anthony Davidson and Sebastian Buemi.
Suivez-moi, je vais vous montrer une petite partie sympa.
Hello, follow me, and I'll show you some perks of being a racing driver.
L'endurance pour moi c'est tout nouveau.
For an endurance race, everything is pretty new for me, and I'm especially excited about driving through the night session.
Par rapport à la F1, il y a quand même pas mal de différences. Ouais. Bon, là,
compared to my Formula One experience, there are a lot of differences. You're part of a team and not just on your own out there. The crew need to find a setup that suits all of the drivers and not just me. Pacing yourself is very important too, unlike Formula One where each lap is flat out.
On a fait des simulations.
We've done some simulations and I've tried not to sleep, but it wasn't so good. Not good at all, in fact. I thought that only sleeping for 1 or 2 hours was pointless, so I chose to stay awake and it became very complicated. The next time we tried it, I slept for 30 or 40 minutes in intervals and felt a bit better, but I'm going to have to train myself to eat, even if it's after my first stint around 2 a.m. Sebastian's chiropractor saying here that a deep massage and a series of stretches help the drivers after long stints in the car. The main area of focus for a driver is between the shoulders, the neck and the spine. It's true, they say that this week will be long, so by the time we're ready to race, as Sebastian will be so tired, but we'll need to make the most of these relaxing moments. You can see here Sebastian's teammates is then seen joking around with Sebastian as he mocks the Swiss driver for how much time he spends having massages instead of racing.
Caron, a lot of preparation going on in the Toyota camp. How did you prepare? Any special program?
No, just keep training, as much as you can. My chosen sport is cycling, and you could spend 4 or 5 hours on the bike, so it's like doing a quadruple stint, maybe, training. But as Sebastian was saying, a big thing is for us, coming from single-seater racing, when to sleep, when to eat is all very confusing. And fortunately, I have 2 teammates who have done 23 Le Mans races between them, so I'm asking them a lot of stupid questions. But unfortunately, I'm getting mixed answers because David says, oh, you take power naps for 20 minutes, that's it. And Peter says, no, you just fall asleep and wake up 4 hours later. So I'm still as confused even after asking them. No.
Is the team spirit really good within the camp?
Yeah, it is. I mean, they've done a lot of endurance racing, and I'm very much the youngster coming in and trying to learn about it all. So they've been very welcoming to me and sort of accommodating all my silly questions. And, we're at very different stages. I mean, David first raced here in 1992. So it's a bit different. I'm sure people like Sebastian and Nick Heidfeld, we're all experiencing the same. Sharing a car with 2 other people is very strange. Having come from F1 where you're used to a very selfish way of working. You do everything for yourself and you work with your engineer for you and you get everything done in the way that you want it to. And all of a sudden you have to think of this bigger picture. It is a bit different, and it's a big mindset shift you have to make.
Well, David Brabham is down in pits with Adelaide. Adelaide, you know, he's celebrating his 20th anniversary here at Le Mans, I believe.
Yes, exactly, David. What does it mean to be there one more time for the 18th time?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to think all those years ago, you know, when I first came here, that I'd be still here. You know, 1992 I came here, and it was such a great experience. And you know, the feeling, the emotions that you get, you come here, it's exactly the same. You know, and I'm standing here in the pit lane. You can see the people starting to fill up the stands. The atmosphere is building. It is a magical time for sure.
How satisfied are you with the car so far?
Well, I mean, we certainly think we'd like to be in a better place. So we decided that we just focus purely on the race now. All the stuff we're going to be racing with is now on the car. We just did a shakedown in the last session. We're going to do a few laps just to make sure everything's okay, and then that'll be it for us. So we'd like a lot more time in the car to be able to fine-tune it, but because of our situation, we had to stop what we were doing and then just focus on the race.
Thanks, David.
Thanks very much, David. And Adelaide, I believe that you got up very early this morning and you went on a little trip. Now, what were you getting up to? We don't know. We're going to find out right away in this little report, special report.
Hi, I'm David Brabham, and we're here at the Le Mans 24 Hours. I've done thousands and thousands of miles on the racetrack around here, but I've never seen it from above. So why don't you come and join me?
The scale of the paddock down here, where all the trucks and motorhomes, and this is my 18th time here, and that has always been the same. I arrive here on the weekend before, and you get a chill through your body, and an excitement and a smile on your face. You know, this is a very unique track. Obviously, it's a mixture of sort of racetrack and the main roads. It's a very special place for a driver to drive on. I mean, it really does give you a perspective of how long that straight is. You can see when you come out of Tête Rouge up the top there, how long it is all the way down to the straight. So we're travelling at around about 320 kilometres an hour. It feels quite narrow when you're going down the straight. You've got the forest either side, which I think just adds a lot of flavour and atmosphere to the place. For me, this is a special time as well when you're coming up the straight there to be able to see the sun sort of going away, and then as you go into Indianapolis, which is massive commitment going into there. You know, again, we're well over 300 going into Indianapolis, and then hard onto the brakes for a second gear left-hand corner where it's slightly banked. It's one of my favourite parts on the track.
I hope you really enjoyed the trip as much as I did. To see Le Mans like that was pretty special. And I'm off to work now. I'll see you later.
A magical place, I would say. Is there what's your most favorite part of this circuit?
I don't think I've done enough thousands of miles like he has to have a favorite yet. I mean, like you said, I think the entry to Indianapolis is pretty special. But I like the first bit as well, as you drop down the S's and out towards Tête Rouge. I think you know, the road drops downhill so much and the camber changes a lot. So you have to be really precise with the line through there. But you know, ask me in 3 days' time, I might have a different answer.
Well, we can actually have a little look and we've got a spotlight on Tête Rouge and the obstacles that obviously the drivers face, you guys face. The two-time winner, Alex Wurz, is showing us his keys to Le Mans.
Mein Name ist Alex Wurz.
Hi, my name's Alex Wurz. A two-time winner at Le Mans, talks us through curbs. The 24-hour race of Le Mans is a big challenge for man and material. And I am responsible, depending on how I drive my car, for how brutal or gentle I am with it. Here we are at Tête Rouge, and when you take a closer look, you see that we can carry much more speed onto the straight if we let the car drift to the outside of the circuit. And if you do it right, it can be worth 2 or 3 tenths. You have to be careful though, the curbs here are dangerous. We call them baguettes. When you drive over them with the weight of the car on the outside, you can easily cause damage to the carbon splitter or even the suspension. You'll get away with it once or twice perhaps, but for the 24 hours, the key really is to avoid the big curbs altogether.
A lot of hazards around the circuit. How much time does it take to learn about the hazards, and what's the most challenging part about it?
I think any good driver can learn, can get within, say, 3/10 or half a second of the ultimate time within 5 laps on any track. They should be able to. Circuits like this are a bit different because they're so much longer. But even so, I think it's once you get to that last half second, then you've got to chip away. And I'm sure all the way through the race, for me, doing my first Le Mans, I'm going to be learning lots of little tricks, as the race goes on. And also don't forget, as David said before, half the track is actually a street, and only half is permanent. So it's going to be really dusty to start with. And as the race goes on, it's going to get more and more rubber and cleaner and faster. So you have to change your line as well a little bit as the race goes on. So I think these are things you can only learn during the race maybe and not so much before.
I think we're going to join Justine, who's down in the pits, joined by the pole setter for the time being. I mean, Romain Dumas. We got more qualifying coming up a bit later on, of course. Justine.
Yes, I am with Romain, but we're going to be really quick because he has to jump in the car. Romain, it was a big surprise. Loic did a really great lap in front of the e-tron.
Yes, it was very nice. I mean, it was a perfect lap. I don't know why, if the grip is a little bit better tonight, but straight away, at the practice we were in second place, quite close of the hybrid car, and after, he made a very good lap. It's not so important. The qualify for sure now, I'm sure they will try again to be on pole, but it's a good battle. We have a good car for the race. It's good to be not too far from them, to try to keep the contact for the race.
The e-tron normally had to be in front of you, so you think they're going to push to get the pole position?
Yes, I think so. I hope, we are here to fight. Normally they should be on pole. In terms of performance, I think they were a little bit, all the week, a little bit ahead. But wait and see. I think he had a perfect lap. Here with the traffic, few times you can go for 10 laps, you will have not any one clear lap, and few times you do 5 laps in a row perfect. So it's a little bit of luck, when you fight for few tenths, 1, 2, 3 tenths, not more, you have to have the luck with you.
Toyota is not too far behind, but they are behind. Are you surprised on this?
Well, I predict they will be on pole. For sure now they are a little bit behind, but wait and see. It's a long race. They are already very quick for the first year, we have to say. They made a very nice job so far. It's only the first race, so to be only 1.5 or 2 seconds off when we are pushing like hell, I think it's not too bad.
Do you think you can improve the lap time of Loic Duval?
Now he was so quick that normally I should have a set of new tires now, because we said, okay, you have one chance, I will get the chance. But now he was so good that we stopped in our car. We'll go for a long run. But I mean, it's okay. It was a good fight.
It's good to be pushed by young kids like this.
Well, young kid is only 2 or 3 years younger than me, so it's okay.
Thank you.
3:24.0. How impressed are you by the time?
It's very quick, isn't it? I mean, compared to what was done even last year, I think it's a hugely impressive time. And as Romain said, I think we're a bit surprised that the e-tron car isn't quicker. I mean, and you could see Toyota pushing like crazy. We saw in those little highlights you had before, they both went off at times during the session. So they're pushing hard. It's nice to see a bit of a battle, even between the Audis. It's nice to see. Don't know in the race if they'll be asked to sort of control the pace, but it's nice at least in qualifying that they're free to battle for pole. It makes a little bit of an exciting story for today.
There's a lot of battles going on in every category, of course, Karen, and we can look at the GT Pro category where this report looks at the Corvette Chevrolet team, who explain how they deal with the darkness. Excuse me.
The best times during qualifying are usually set at night because the temperature is cooler, allowing the engines to run at their peak performance. But the night is also a very special moment for the drivers at Le Mans too. as concentration levels have to be at their highest also.
During the night, everything comes very, very simple. I mean, there is just a few panels where you can take them as a brake reference, and once you get used to that, everything becomes as easy as it is during the day. But probably that and the traffic is what the most important thing during the night. We also have lights to aware us if it's a yellow flag or a blue flag. The main problem would be cars coming from behind. So the lights are lights for everybody. There is a little change because GTs will run yellow lights and the LMPs run a little bit brighter white lights. Our crew chief does the best he can just to aware which car is coming from behind.
Nighttime at Le Mans is a magical moment, and despite it being feared for most of the drivers, they're unforgettable hours for those who are behind the wheel.
You probably cannot see it, but you can smell it. There is a lot of barbecues going around, so sometimes if you are going around during dinner time, at some point you can feel the fans by smelling their barbecues.
Karen, just a question regarding what you have done behind the wheel with obviously your compatriot Naren Karthikeyan for India regarding motorsports. You put India on the map. I mean, what kind of an impact has it had on your country?
Well, it's a sport that's growing. You know, we've had our first India Grand Prix last year, and obviously we've had, as you mentioned, 2 drivers in Formula One. So out of 1.2 billion, it's a nice little exclusive club to be in. But we want to do more. We want to be successful in different categories, like we have here this weekend. We want to have, hopefully, the WEC come to India in the next couple of years. And, we're going to have MotoGP hopefully soon, Superbike. So the sport is growing, but there's a lot to be done still.
Do you know anything about the GT Academy, you know, with the simulators, etc., where the youngsters are coming up through and they're playing on games, you know, to get through, obviously, like Lucas Ordonez? I mean, you know, it's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I can't say I know a huge amount about it, to be honest. Whatever I read a little bit on the internet. So, yeah, I mean, it's a different way to go about it, but I still think the traditional way of Formula 3, GP2 is still a good way to come up.
Okay, well, thanks very much. It's been an absolute pleasure, Karen.
I think he has to jump into the car right now. He really needs to run because the session starts in 8 minutes.
Okay, thanks very much,
Thank you very
Karen.
much.
Okay, look after yourself and good luck. Best of luck. He's running out of the studio. There you go. Well, we just got time to launch the GT Academy. The young guns of Tresson and Ordonez gearing up for the race, of course, this weekend. Let's see what they've been up to in this report on the GT Academy.
Two computer gamers, Lucas Ordonez and Jordan Tresson, are about to face the ultimate challenge of racing in the Le Mans 24-hour race.
You know, for us, as GT Academy winners, it's incredible what's happening to us in our life, and be part of this race is really special.
It's the first practice session, and neither Jordan or Lucas have driven these cars at Le Mans before. And the pressure is on the drivers and the teams to find the race pace straight away.
We had an issue at the beginning of the session. We lost 1 hour. We had quite a lot of understeering and high-speed corners, kind of Porsche curves, for example. And then we found a setup which was too much grippy in the front, which made oversteering cars. So we went back again to a normal setup and work again. So it's really complex motorsport, and that's what we're trying to find the best solution for tonight.
Driving at night, though, Jordan runs into a few problems.
We have some issues with the car. We have a steering issue at the moment, and the guy is changing it. Steering has become pretty stiff at some points. It's trembling a bit in the corners. We have to change it now.
Okay, Lucas, pit this time, please. Pit this time.
Hard session for all the LMP2 cars. I went into my stint, and you know, I found the track really busy with lots of traffic.
I'm still calm. I mean, it's just really a big issue for the drivers. It's mostly time lost on the planning.
As a driver, it makes you feel less confident in your driving, and it's quite hard now.
Lucas is worried the team are running out of time. Will they have it all sorted for tomorrow? Join us tomorrow for the 24-minute show.
We're back here in the studio, only, 5 minutes away from the final qualifying session before we find out at midnight who will have pole position for Saturday's race. Sebastian, maybe we could find out how Lucas Ordonez got on in the last qualifying session.
Well, yeah, I mean, the car number 42, the Greaves Motorsport, is running in 23rd overall P10 at the moment in the LMP2 category.
Okay, so wonderful. Well, I think it's time that we can maybe go down and join the father-son partnership with Adelaide, Martin Brundle and his son Alex. Adelaide.
Yes, exactly. I'm with Martin and Alex, father and son. Alex, it's your first experience in Le Mans. How exciting is it to share the car with your father for this year?
Yeah, really exciting. He's been doing a great job. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the race. Everything's going well so far, and we're happy with the car. So yeah, really enjoying things.
Are you proud of your son?
Yeah, I am. It's a great experience for a father, of course, to share this experience. But Alex has been really driving beautifully for such a young man. You know, been sent out on qualifying laps, and this is a big, demand on a young man, and so it's a good experience for him. And we have a great race car. We're very confident for the race. We have 3 drivers on similar pace, so I think he's played his part.
Is there competition between you two?
Well, inevitably, because we're racing drivers, and therefore you always want to be the fastest. But you know, we're working together. Obviously, in single seaters, your first job is to beat your teammate. In this business, you need to work more closely with your teammate and make sure you're all comfortable and you can compromise a little. I hate the word compromise, but that's what you need to do for the seat, the pedals, the handling of the car. And inevitably, we're looking at each other's sector times quite closely.
24 hours race, it's very long, you need experience. What kind of advice you can give to your son?
Well, I've learned many things the hard way, and I've seen other people make a lot of mistakes here, so I can give Alex that advice. The best way to learn anything is to make your own mistakes, which he will do, no doubt. And he can teach me some other things on driving technique, the latest driving techniques and braking techniques, for example. So we're very much sharing that.
The car is still in the garage. What are they working on at the moment?
We're going to work a little bit on our night race setup in this session and try and understand the tyre at night a little bit better. So at the moment we're just waiting until it gets a little bit cooler to go out and deliver some laps.
What would be your expectation for the race?
Well, we're expecting to give the best possible performance. We love to win. We love a good result, obviously, but that'll come from doing the best job possible.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks very much, Martin, Alex. Good luck for those guys. Adelaide as well. Just Sebastian, obviously we've seen that the Audis are doing pretty well, obviously the hybrids. What can we expect from this night session, this final qualifying session?
Yeah, the final qualifying session starts in 1 minute and 40 seconds, if I'm not wrong, and I guess we can expect a lot. The big surprise today was actually in the first qualifying session we saw today, the number 3 Audi, and Loic Duval put down a lap at 3:24.078, which nobody expected to be that fast. And I think even the Audi guys were surprised because they were saying they don't go for quick times in this qualifying session, and suddenly we have a time which is, I mean, far a world from the pole position. I mean, much faster than what we saw last year, and much faster, I think, what even Audi expected. Toyota, they ran into trouble because I guess they had to push very hard. We saw them going through the Ford chicane, and which it's quite challenging for them to try to beat Audi. And now it's the question how Audi will react, because I guess marketing-wise they would like to have an e-tron on the pole position. Now they have the Ultra on the pole position at the moment, so it will be very interesting to see how they play and if they can go faster.
Well, you can just behind us, I mean, you know, we can see that the cars are lining up. They're ready to go out, so things are getting very exciting here, and we'll find out in just a couple of hours who will be in pole position come Saturday. The program, well, it's live on Eurosport, of course. You can watch it You can watch it live on Eurosport, of course, straight away, so stay with us. Justine is down there for the green lights. Justine.
Absolutely, I'm here. Look at this, the car are ready. The green light's gonna turn in really soon, quite a few seconds. So stay with us because the quali is not finished and the pole position is gonna play for tonight. Green light is on.
Well, there it goes. The green flag, and well, thank you very much, Justine Adelaide. We're going to have to pass it over to the commentators, of course. Stay on Eurosport. Thanks so much, Sebastian Tiffer. We can't hear a thing, so we're going to have to call it a day. Enjoy the qualifying session. We'll be back tomorrow for another show, of course, at 10:15. Have a very good evening. Good night.
Well, as Robbie said, you can watch all the qualifying live here on Eurosport, and if you miss it, jump online and visit eurosport.yahoo.com. But for now, it's goodbye. I've been Steve Day. We'll see you again tomorrow.